Hey, Summer, good to see you again.
Hi, good to see you too.
I so after we chatted about all the cool things that are happening down there at Berkeley, I thought, I need to go back and rewatch some of the cool YouTube videos that are out there with Glitch. I gotta say, it to me when it's kind of interesting. Like you're at the center of like mechanical engineering, robotics, and then of course the fun and excitement of taking your creation down into a uh, you know, the battle ring to compete against other schools. To me, it just sounds like the best of both worlds. How exciting for you to be part of something that's it just seems so futuristic and so practical all at the same time.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like Glitch and making robots is very exciting and very stressful. You throw your robot in there, you don't know what's going to happen to it. You can win. You can watch it blow up into a bajillion pieces. After you spend like multiple all-nighters, um, thousands of hours just making this robot, at least like a few $1,000 also making it, just to watch it go into pieces.
Okay, that is exactly what I was thinking. And I was wondering just is it like it's stressful and exciting? And I'm just kind of curious. So you only have one, right? It's not like you don't go to the competition with more than one, do you?
We have Glitch, and that's like our older legacy product for BattleBots TV show. And then
Yeah.
depending on the teams, because we have roughly like 120 students on my team, each
Uh-huh.
group of students will make their own robot. So the team that I'm in is like the most senior team, and we moved on to Malware, which is like Glitch's younger brother. And then all the younger teams will be like 5 people per, and they'll make one 1 pound robot, one 3 pound robot. It just depends. And so we'll all go in together as a team. There could be 3, 4 robots in the competition, or it could just be the senior robot going out to go compete. And you just watch everyone's robots explode all together.
Okay, now that's interesting. So you kind of break it into multiple teams. That makes sense because you couldn't have 120 people working on a robot. I mean, there'd be too many competing ideas and it just everyone kind of wants to like try their theory out, right?
Yeah, the whole point of this program isn't to make the best robot or to make a winning robot. It's to teach students how to design, how to learn from their designs, how to do like analysis, stuff like that. So of course we're gonna throw like losing robots that person like the leadership might not know or could be the best, but we like encourage those ideas the most because we want them to learn from what could be a poor design choice.
I.e., your robot just got
Blown to
blown
smithereens.
to pieces. You just got blown to pieces. Okay, yeah, maybe that wasn't the best design idea. All right. So Glitch was that like the original kind of
Yeah.
right, that's what okay. And now there's been other for so what's the name of the robot that you and your team on the senior team are working on?
So our new flagship we're pushing is called Malware. We're trying to keep the theme and the name. And the difference between Malware and Glitch is 120 pounds, or 120, or 100 and, or sorry, 260 pounds.
Oh
And
Lord, 260 pounds?
yeah, like roughly around that range. And Malware is only 15. And the reason why we did that is because Glitch costs an insane amount of money. I think one of the seniors quoted me 80K, while Malware cost maybe like 5K. And so after BattleBots, the TV shows became less popular, we got less funding, and so of course we can't afford an 80K robot every year, and so we moved on to like cheaper models and more common
Very
competition.
smart. The entrepreneur has already kicked in. Okay, the marketplace isn't going to support us. Okay, that was the other question I had. Was it looked like you had sponsors? So is that part of this as well? It's a harder sell to get $80,000,
Yeah,
versus 15. You still work on getting sponsors, yes?
yeah. Before when we had the TV show, people were throwing themselves at us because everyone wanted to be in the TV show. It was a big deal. But now, when there's no TV show and we're doing more local competitions, we'll reach out to local manufacturers that tend to help student teams like Rapid Access. And the school only gives us so much money. So a lot of our sponsorships are in kind, and we rely upon like just generous people in the Bay Area to help us make our robots.
I got it right. So that's the thing. Honestly, it's not like I'm on Discovery all the time. So is the BattleBots program kind of like gone away a little bit?
There's some issues with Discovery and the TV show, and so we still have Glitch, the flagship robot, and it's still on standby. We just don't know if or when we'll get to use it.
Well, going back to the battles though, I'm kind of curious. You said it was very stressful, all the hours, that you put into design. So it looked like in some of the competitions, like you would go from level, you would advance, right? From
Yeah.
quarterfinals, semifinal to finals. But meanwhile, your robot's getting torn to shreds. How much time do you have to repair between
Honestly,
battles?
it just depends upon the competition and where you're at and who you're with. If it's like a really tight bracket and they're trying to push robots in and out, you tend to have less time. You can call for a timeout. I'm not sure what the exact word is, but you can buy yourself 30 to 15 minutes at least once per competition. Um, but if you're lucky, you can find yourself like a more loose bracket or a more forgiving bracket.
Yeah.
And some teams will like take timeouts and then you get more time until it's your turn, or like something along those lines will happen, and then you can just buy yourself a lot more time.
Oh, so if what I'm hearing is you're saying you go to the competition and it's like it's one day.
It can be 1 to 2 days. I think the last one we went to was 1 day, and we
Yeah.
were there until like 8 a.m. till maybe like 5 or 6. And then when we host our competitions, it's a full 12-hour day.
Yeah. So basically, you have to make the repairs on the fly. I mean, that's what I'm hearing.
Yes, we have made some insane repairs. We've used duct tape, we've used zip ties. I have gone out into the back and grinded down random metal pieces to make fixtures to help keep the robot together.
That's great.
Sometimes things will break and you don't have parts. Like if a pulley's broken, you don't have an extra pulley. You need to find a way to fix it together. Maybe like glue and like a hair dryer or something.
I mean, so I went back and watched the battles with Retrograde and Hydra.
Yeah.
And those were a lot of fun, and particularly with Hydra, because you guys obviously got crushed. You flipped in the air, you came back and totally upset Hydra. But the grappling bar, whatever in the front, got all bent up. And I thought, how in the world are you going to fix that for the next round? Like you just say, you just have to go and get super creative and just wing it.
We also design for things to break. So like the little forks in the front, we always know those are gonna break. Those are the first things that break. And so we have just a screw mechanism with a spring attached to the very front. And so those are pretty easy, like swap in and out, along with like
Mm,
the panelings. It's mostly the drivetrain and like the innards. Like once those get messed up, then it becomes a problem.
got it. Got it. Okay. So your team is now working on, you've got your variety, your style, and that's malware. I love that. That
Yeah.
is such a, everyone hates malware. I mean, so you're really setting yourself up to be the hated robot. I mean, come on, malware. Who wants, who, no, I mean, like I'll support malware, but we don't want it anywhere near our computers.
I mean, I feel like most robots tend to have aggressive names. And lots of people look at malware who are in like the BattleBot space and they see Glitch. At our last competition, the announcer mistakenly called us Glitch twice because the design is very similar. We're the same team. Other teams that we have, like the smaller teams, will also have little like fun names. We had like Freak Bob, and of course, if the students name the robots whatever they want, because if they have more ownership of it over it, the more excited they'll be to work on it.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. So before we get into the interesting developments in the business world, which is why we're here, is this is a business learning development podcast. And I think what's happening for you and your teams are kind of interesting. I want to share it with people. Who comes up with the strategy and who gets to run the controls? Is this like an internal team competition? Like that would be like, that's pretty important who you put on the controls. Who gets to
Um,
decide that?
So it kind of depends within each team. So the younger teams is kind of just like who really wants to control it, and usually like whoever puts the most time into the robot and whoever like ends up taking the leadership role will tend to have more sway with the team. It isn't really like a cat fight fighting over controls. Most people, these are engineers, and most of them are pretty timid to
Yeah.
begin with, and most of them don't want that extra stress. So
Right.
most people like,
No, you go ahead. No,
yeah, just
you
take
go
it, take
ahead.
it. I don't want it. I don't want it. And so it's not really a fight. It'll be between like two people that want it.
Right.
When it came between malware, me and my co-president both really wanted to drive, and so we decided he could drive at the last comp, and then the next comp that we'll have in Vegas, I'll like train and practice and then drive then. And so it's kind of just like it's like never really a big fight. It's just whoever like we think is right to drive and who's like seen enough videos.
That sounds very cordial and very polite. I guess if you had a lot of different type of personalities, yeah, I could see it going different. But that makes sense. You've got really smart engineers. I don't want to deal with the stress. I don't want to deal with, I made the wrong strategic choice at the wrong time and we just got flipped and shredded. So I get it. It's almost like a battlefield promotion. Here, you take it, Simmer. You do
Yeah,
it.
most engineers are just timid. They want to get their job done and they just want to watch it work.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So speaking of watching it work, the podcast here for the past couple of months, we've been focused on the heavy influence of AI and robotics and automation and all the things that are happening within manufacturing, automotive, all the different spaces that. So I'm part of Timpl. We're a big staffing company, and we staff all these kind of complex manufacturing facilities, and they all have robotics and things that are automated. And you made an interesting comment. You told me, I don't know if you remember exactly what you said, but apparently you and your team are getting looked at, or you're getting inquiries from companies. So kind of what's happening, at the college level as it relates to engineering talent kind of before it even launches into the corporate world.
Yeah. Normally, like historically, it's been common for companies to reach out to colleges and be like, "Hey, can I have a resume booklet? Could I have just a head count? Can we like talk to you like guys as kids and like see what you're up to?" And that was pretty normal. Before I was president, I was VP operations, so I'd get all those emails also. But what I've realized after like the big AI boom has been my inbox has been blowing up. Different startups have been approaching me, being like, "Hey, we want resumes." Venture capitalism firms are like headhunting and hiring. They're known for that. Have been approaching me, and I've had meetings with them. Just anybody and everybody, even you, somehow just like fell into my inbox, and now the teams are just like kind of overwhelmed with the amount of like possibilities we have and the places we can go and what's going on.
I'm different though. I'm special. We got a fun podcast. This is not
Yeah,
boring work. Come on. This is more fun. No, but
that's
you're
fair.
right. There, no, but you're right though. There is a lot of. It's kind of interesting, because I think, if you're thinking, all right, I'm in school to develop and hone, something I'm really interested in, you're kind of focused on that. I think there comes a time when you start clicking over and you realize, I see the end. I'm seeing beyond. I think this is just forcing that timeline in people, right, to start thinking a little sooner. And I don't know, does that kind of, in your opinion, does that kind of diminish the fun of being in school, kind of being forced to think about, oh, I got to get a resume, I got to, go interview?
Honestly, as a Berkeley student, we like want good internships starting from like sophomore, junior year. Like you're a sophomore, you're already stressed. Like, am I gonna go work at a fan company? Am I gonna go work like locally? And so, as Berkeley students, it's not that big of a deal to be worrying about like companies. Most students also like have a master's scheme since like freshman year. They already know what professors they want to become friends with. They already know what labs they want to research with. So that's not too unique. But I think what's happening now is we're getting new ideas basically. So before it was like, do you want to do a master's program? Do you want to work at Google? Do you want to work in your home? But now we're getting like reached out. I'm getting reached out by a humanoid fight club to go compete. And that's another opportunity for me to like maybe go work with them to go make my humanoid. I'm getting reached out by VC firms. And so I'm thinking maybe I can do a startup, maybe I can start my own company. And now like the entire world of possibilities is like being forced upon me. When originally all I thought my options were like post grad or go be a corporate worker.
So basically, the world of robotics and AI have just kind of come rushing in with millions of different ideas, and now you've got all these different paths that you can take. You mentioned humanoid. Is that an area that you're personally interested in?
Yeah, I'm currently speaking to a few people who have underground fight clubs and SF. And for people who don't know what that is just a bunch of humanoid robots that are driven by whoever, and you kind of make them like fight each other. And the point of that isn't to like push humanoid violence; is more so to have people realize humanoids are coming and they're coming soon, and we have access to them now. And so I'm working with that team. I'm thinking about developing my own or figuring out like last leg integration with them, but just every possibility is at my door right now.
The area that has been talked about a lot in the humanoid space is the flexibility required for the hand. Is this an
Yeah.
area that you've even experimented with? Because it seems, you use your hand and it just it's almost not infinite, but I mean, so many different, dexterity points that has become very, very challenging for the humanoid group.
So actually, my senior project was a robotic hand. We would have one program that could read the hand, or we'd have a glove you can slip on. And the goal for my project was to have like long distance bomb defusal or surgery. And so I kind of understand the like the complexities of moving your hand, each joint, how funny it is. And I personally think that is not the biggest issue because at the end of the day, you could have a humanoid with a three claw gripper, and for the most part, you can do everything a human would need to do anyways.
Yeah. So where do you think the biggest challenges will be in this humanoid development space? In your opinion, what you've seen and, as an engineer kind of working on different robot styles?
I personally think hardware is fully done. There's no issue in hardware that we can't solve without enough time and money. I think the biggest issue is data. How do you like? Do you have enough people training the humanoids to know how to walk through your house properly? Do you have enough people training humanoids to wash dishes? Do you have enough resources to integrate humanoids into a household? Like, if someone were to bring a humanoid to your house right now in a cardboard box, could you unpackage it, plug it in like a Roomba, and then expect it to work as a Roomba would work?
Yeah. The answer is probably no.
Yeah.
Do
Um,
keep your fine china up. Keep it,
yeah.
keep it locked away because it's not going to happen. Well, one of the things that I have found kind of interesting about Tesla's FSD is that each car in and of itself is collecting data and sending the data from what it learns back to a central hub. And then that information is distributed back. So I think that's kind of interesting. I mean, there could be some privacy concerns there, but when it comes to this humanoid learning and getting, he has to learn, environment, right? And touch points. So I think that would be kind of an interesting way to approach it if you went with a company that had, humanoids that were kind of shared experiences, going back to a central hub and then redistributing the information. I mean, have you even thought about this, like how they might go about solving this problem?
Yeah, so I feel like that's the most common route people are thinking about.
Yeah.
Some problems I've heard about it is just like most people that buy humanoids will be rich to begin with, and most rich people are smart about their privacy and who they're letting into their home. Like, you would rather just hire a maid who just can keep a secret and clean your house than a humanoid with cameras that you don't know who's watching, you know? But
That's true.
yeah, but I feel like it's like the integration of cars. Like, when cars were first like brought in, after some time, once they get cheap enough, like, it'll just figure itself out.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of interesting. I think Musk has said he's targeting what, like $20,000 to $30,000 at scale
There's
for
already cheaper robots.
there are cheaper ones already other countries have developed. Do you think you would be an early adopter? Set money aside. Would you bring in a humanoid?
I personally am one of those engineers that knows technology really well, and I'm one of those people that keep a handgun for my fax machine. Um, like,
Wait, say that again?
I'm one of those people that keep a handgun for my fax machine. Like, if it starts making a funny noise, I don't trust it anymore. Um, and personally, I do think humanoids are the future, and I do think it's inevitable. They'll be coming. At the end of the day, I'm just really careful about who I'm letting into my home and who's like looking at what's going on in my personal life.
I think we can all think of a million things that it could take a lift off and a burden off of us. It's great. The downside is what you just touched on, right? All the information it's gathering, everything it's going to know, see, and record. At some point, it's going to be this, cost benefit. Do I accept this, or do I, as you say, just hire people, just do it myself? I don't know. I don't know. The more I learn about the negatives, it kind of pushes me to the no side. I think it would be fun to be an early adopter, honestly. I mean, just think about me going to the grocery store with Frank.
I mean, you could. They're like little pets. I've seen these humanoids in person. I've driven them, and they just look like children. Like, after looking at one, your empathy kicks in, like your parental instinct kicks in. I'm 21.
Really?
I don't have that, but I'm 21 and I see one, and I'm like, oh, like,
Like,
why
oh,
are they
cute.
fighting? I feel bad. Um, but I wouldn't be too worried about the privacy. I mean, at the end of the day, you still have a phone. The phone's going to be reporting the same things
I
that a
mean,
human might. It doesn't
fair
matter.
point. Fair
Yeah,
point. I mean, look at these things. My God, these things, it's probably just recorded the entire conversation that we had.
I'm gonna have a humanoid ad like tomorrow. Just wait.
Oh, you will.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. That is kind of interesting. So right now, your team and others like you are getting a lot of requests to go in different directions. So what are some of the interesting ideas? Don't mention any companies, anything like that, but what are some of the really interesting or maybe kind of off the wall opportunities? You mentioned an underground humanoid fight club. That's got to be up at the top. That's kind of a weird. That's kind of odd. That's a little weird. Like, what do you do? Well, I'm in a fight club.
Yeah, so the Fight Club, from what I understand, is one of the humanoid companies. They have their robots positioned in SF through this club, and they're an overseas company. And
No,
so
what's
the people,
SF? I mean, San Francisco. What's
yeah,
SF?
sorry, San Francisco, my bad.
Okay, okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. And these robots are positioned here because they're an overseas company. And so this team is like monitoring the robots here, repairing them here. And their thought was, how do we get people more used to them? And so originally it was a Stanford versus Berkeley competition to get the students involved, to get more press that way. And the company that I'm talking about was already in New York Times. And so they're on like a rolling train right now. I think they're gonna blow up at least a little bit more. um, a few other fight clubs have reached out to me, and because I'm a school team and I'm school affiliated, I tend to be very careful on what offers I take. And if they seem even a little suspicious or they can get me and my team in trouble, I would tend to avoid them.
You bring
But
them. You bring the. Well, I don't want to say
yeah,
the gun. The gun. You said it.
oh, that was for the fax
Man.
machine. um, but yeah, other offers that we've had is just like general startups. So we'll have like, hey, we're having like an event. Please bring your students. I want to talk to them. Or companies, VC firms, like mostly on the business side. Afterwards, it'll just be like stuff like that. We'll have a few entrepreneurs reach out to me. They'll be like, hey, we know you're having a competition soon. Can we like have our startup or data collection or whatever at your competition? It just like the generic startup SF San Francisco like business space that's
Yeah.
been like, creeping into my school.
You know, I don't want to, I don't know the percentage of students, but I would say there'd be a high percentage that I think they probably just go into business for themselves. I just think you begin to see I mean, you literally are coming out at the perfect time for the skill set that you're developing. I mean, you're not entering into a mature market. I mean, it is the exact opposite of it. I mean, that is probably what's most exciting. On the other hand, you might join a company for a year or two and just get the knowledge. There's a lot of other little aspects, that you need to learn when it comes to running a business and making decisions and things like that. Depending on the kind of startup you're in, you can get a lot of that information and get that comfort level. And now maybe you've got a better resume, if you will, with other VCs, and then you start your own business. To me, that's the more independent you are, honestly, I feel like the safer someone is. The more secure you are is when you're just self-reliant. That's my opinion. You don't want to be relying on someone else's ideas and someone else's concepts.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I personally believe the same. I've worked at two other startups, one mid-sized company and one FANG company before, and I feel like working at all those places has really taught me how to just work in different environments. I've learned more corporate maneuvers. I've learned stuff like that. And I think it's really important. Lots of students will graduate college and go straight into entrepreneurship, which is fine. I encourage them. But like I agree with what you're saying, like learning the steps first and from the field, like your elders first and then pivoting
Yes.
needs to be better.
Yeah. I think I mean, it's going to be different for everybody, but I think that's a smart path. And it's not like you're losing time. Like I said, we're just right on the cusp, right on the very beginning. I mean, the whole hockey stick is in front of you with the
Yeah.
scale, and it's very exciting. Well, this has been really exciting for me because I remember the battle bots. I did forget about it but at the time I thought, man, that's pretty cool. So I got to go back and kind of rewatch those, and I thought it's just really fun to show that side of what is possible. With robotics, it's not just some stupid arm moving a can of beverages to another to palletizing. There's a lot of cool things that can be done, and I think what you guys are doing there in the school, in the club, really forcing students to think really just like innovation, creation, strategy, trial and error. That's the absolute, in my opinion, best way to learn. Absolute is act, learn, adjust, and that is the perfect scenario to do it. Right?
Yeah. We pump out maybe like 15, roughly, could be between 15 to 12 robots per semester. And so everyone has a chance to work in a robot. Everyone's working on a robot. And we just have so many opportunities to iterate and keep creating that you have to learn something at some point.
At some point, you are going to learn something. Well, and if they don't, they're out of the program. Come on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Go be an accountant.
Go be a computer science major. Like, I think most of them just pivot to there.
Yeah, exactly. Until that gets replaced as well. This has been great. I really appreciate you taking some time to come down and share some of your experiences with the grandfather glitch and the new version, right? Malware.
Yeah, malware.
Well, we definitely need to see some photos and some videos. Would love to get all that kind of added to this. I think it would be a lot of fun for people to see just what some of the things your team is working on, and I would love to help promote it. Sounds like a lot of fun, Summer.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll send them over.
That's great. All right. Well, we'll see you next time, and hopefully we'll Discovery will get their acts together with TV so we can get your teams back out there. We want to see you out there.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Okay, see ya.